keeping our culture alive in my books and in the spoken word. This is important. Trust me, this is true. Now, come here, boy. Go down to Mr. Marshall's shop and trust a half pound of pig's snout, 3 leavened bread, a quarter pound of keg butter, a carbolic soap, 2 red spot, and a pint of cooking oil. Take that tin candy, and on your way back, pass by the Bowser. Again, these terms may not be familiar to many people because we don't have a good habit of passing on anything. Take that tin candy, and on your way pass by the Bowser and buy half a gallon of kerosene. Yes, cooking oil, lard oil, the oil of choice. We use the cooking oil to fry our bakes and to put in our saltfish sauce. People nowadays have all kind of oil. Vegetable oil, corn oil, canola oil, olive oil, which we used to call sweet oil. All kind of oil. Yes, we had our cooking oil, or lard oil, castor oil, Canadian heating oil to rub your big toe when you stomp it, and coconut oil, boy. We loved our coconut oil. I was in Grenada in February this year, 2004, and I bought some nutmeg oil. You know, nutmeg oil can make Grenada famous because of its healing capabilities. Trust cooking oil? Yes, trust. But that was big when I was growing up in Grenada. And almost everybody used to trust, even big shots did so. You know what? It says a hell a lot about the shopkeepers who are part of the community. So if you lived in St. Paul's, the shopkeepers there, they got to know you, and more importantly, your ability to pay when the month ended. The shopkeepers were a smart bunch. They had a very good idea of their customers, their income, and their disposable income. But even those who had no steady jobs, used to trust, and they were trusted by shopkeepers. You see, the shopkeepers knew about the susu, or when the child's father got paid, the shopkeeper knew the man who had the woman on the outside there, the side woman, and who would pay for the goods that she trusted. He knew that, or she knew that. He also knew the women who loved to mind men. I don't know, but some women, boy, they loved to mind hard back, man. Trust, an important word. And it was so important that many of those who trusted, boy, they did not even bother to mark down what the people took or when they took it. Not all did that. So it was a nice agreement between business people and their customers. They trusted each other. How many of our people today trust each other? Now, the best people to trust were barbers and the taxi drivers. But they get paid every day. Dock workers got paid regularly too. So while others were waiting for the month or the fortnight to see a paycheck, the barbers, the dock workers, and so, but they had coins jingling in their pockets all the time. Now back then, There were no computers. Shopkeepers did not have that luxury to record what people took. So some shopkeepers, I mentioned that some had very good memory and didn't bother to write anything down. But there were some who wrote the names of those who trusted to put it in notebooks in no particular order. They did not worry about that. The names will always pop up at the end of the month when they look in the notebooks. A number of the shopkeepers, they used the big government ledger books to keep the records. Others went to Bryden and Miners and places like that, and they bought notebooks. Then they entered the amount of salt beef, the corned beef, the flour, the saltfish that people trusted until payday. Now here's the interesting part. Check it out. Not all shopkeepers like to trust. In fact, some even had signs in their shop, notices that read, "Don't ask for Mr. Trust. Mr. Trust is dead and buried." And you know what? There was a picture of a dead Mr. Trust in a coffin. Well, back then it was coffin. Everybody got buried in a coffin. Nowadays you have all kind of fancy caskets. In one shop I saw a sign that read, "Eggs have no right." In Rockstone Dance, if you know you can't pay, don't come and trust. Now one shopkeeper in a certain part of the island, he went as far as to call out the names of all the bad pay people at the end of the month. And you know what he did? He stood in the middle of the street and called out the names. And of course, some of the big shots who didn't want anybody to know that they used to trust. It was an easy way to get them to run and pay right away when they heard their names called, because the man said some really embarrassing things. "I trusted Mrs. D," but I ain't calling no name. "Mrs. D, 2 pounds of sugar, 1 pound of flour, 2 eggs to feed our hungry children." It's the end of the month and she hiding. She don't want to come and pay. "Mrs. D, come and pay me money. Come and pay me." Boy, they ain't easy. They ain't easy at all. They were not easy. But look, remain thankful to our shopkeepers for the important part they played in our lives. And you who listen to me, I'm sure you can call names of shopkeepers who were so kind to our people. Big them up, as the Jamaicans would say. I can think of Mr. Selwyn Marshall, Terry Street, now called Hobart Blaze Street, was good, trusting poor people, made it possible to eat the daily bread and a little butter too, until they had money to pay. And then, of course, when I lived in Grenville Street, the Sandyfords, Mr. Jones, who had a shop, they were nice to poor people, trusting them. Looking back, I ask myself a question as I think of today. How many of us really trust each other? Many of us are just, bent on putting on each other. You see it on Facebook all the time. Well, let's talk about some of the positive aspects our people are noted for, were noted for, and are still noted for. My piece tonight, Anthony Wendell de Riggs. God bless.